What's going on, everybody? This is Cooking with Canatos, and today I'm making mushroom risotto, or as Gordon Ramsay would say, risotto.
That risotto is delicious. Thank you, chef.
So first step is we got some shallots here. We're gonna cut them up. I always like to cut off the tip, just the tip, peel, revealing our beautiful shallot. Now the shallot, it's a lot like an onion. It's just a lot more mellow, one might be able to say, than your standard yellow or red onion. So you're still getting that onion flavor, but it's not slappy in the face. So we're peeling our shallots, boom, bam, emerald.
Bam! Oh, that's what I'm talking about.
Riveting stuff here. Forgot who I learned this from, but you always keep the root of the onion, or the shallot, or the garlic, because this holds it all together, so watch. So we're cutting, give it a line down the middle, and when I put my knife in, I'm putting it just before the root. I make 3 or 4 of these long line cuts. On this one, I'm doing 3. Cycle it down. And then I take the knife and I go into it. Now I'm very careful with my hands here because I don't want to cut my fingers off. So what I do is I make almost like a little ball, like a little claw. And I put it on top of the shallot. And I slice in very slowly up until the root. I don't go through the root. You do 2 of these. And then when you're ready, you dice. Look at that, minimal waste. You don't have to go too crazy cutting it yet because we're going to actually much more finely chop these in a moment. We're going to take these scraps here and then toss them in the garbage. That's our dishwasher. All right, we got a garbage over here. Then we got our shallots, at least most of them. You know, some of them we lost. It's all right, what do you got though? You take them nice in the middle of the cutting board, and then you just pop, 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 pop. You want to really finely chop these. So you take your shallots, put them in a bowl, set them to the side. Now I like to use the back of my knife to put my shallots in the bowl because you're not dulling out the knife and you're not destroying your cutting board. So a little pro tip right there. So like I said at the beginning, this is a mushroom risotto. So what's a mushroom risotto without mushrooms? All right, so now we have 7 clean mushrooms. What I like about the baby Bella mushrooms, much like the shallots, is that they're pretty mild. They're not as aggressive of mushrooms. So same thing, you know, with the onion and the shallot. It's not gonna be punching you in the face. It's gonna be a nice, calm umami flavor. Same thing with my knife skills here. As you can see, I'm not cutting it like this. I'm cutting it with the claw. The claw is the most important part. If you don't use the claw, I'm gonna knock you in the jaw. Cool. And just like we did with the shallots, we're gonna give this a pretty rough chop. You don't want these big, ugly mushroom pieces in your risotto. You know, it's supposed to be very consistent in terms of its texture. So we chop, we chop, we chop. Always scrape the excess. Get back to chopping. You don't really need to be too crazy about getting every single piece exactly the same measurement. This isn't science class, this is the kitchen. All right, so we got these chopped up. I'm gonna take a bowl, and we're gonna put them to the side. Nice, and we're gonna put them all over the counter as well. All right, so we got our shallots, got our mushrooms. We're gonna set them to the side for a second. Right here, we have organic beef broth, and we're gonna warm that up over a low heat in a saucepan. Put it on low, and we're gonna put this entire box of broth into this saucepan. So we open her up, glug, 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 glug. Bam! So now while I'm over here, I'm also gonna take this skillet and I'm gonna heat it up on a medium-low heat on a gas stove, so probably about a 4 or 5 on an electric. And I'm gonna take 2 tablespoons of olive oil and I'm gonna put it in this pan. So here we go. We got 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons. And now we're also gonna add in 2 tablespoons, aka a big fat knob of butter. So I got my butter, my olive oil in here. We're gonna take these shallots, we're gonna get them nice and golden brown. We're also gonna add in a 1.5 cups of the rice. So I take my shallots, getting the excess. Don't ever waste your shallots, people, all right? You might have some left in the bowl, but don't let it be too many. You wanna really get all the shallots that you possibly can. While we have this going, we're gonna start measuring out our rice. So we get our cup, and we get our 1/2 cup. Take our rice. I always like to pour things either over a pan or over the sink. That way you don't really lose too much. So we got our cup. Got our 1/2. And we keep on letting these shallots get nice and golden brown. Do I add salt or anything right now? I'm saying like you finish the dish with salt, or when do you put the salt in? I'm gonna let these shallots go just a touch longer. Turn down the heat just a little bit. I don't wanna go too crazy. Listen to that sizzle. I don't know if you can hear that sizzle, but that is a beautiful sound. And now we're at this point, it's starting to get a little bit brown, so we're gonna put in our rice. Stir around the rice. We want to brown that rice. Get it nice and brown. So now, I'm gonna start very, very slowly adding the broth. I'm gonna be doing a rough pour, but you can use a 1/2 cup measuring cup. But I'm just gonna be adding very slowly, one little bit at a time. Ah, shit. One more time. When you see the broth start to evaporate and it starts to get very viscous and thick, that's when you add another little 1/2 cup. We're gonna lower this heat because we don't want it simmering up too soon. At this point, you can actually shut off the broth because it's warm enough by now. So once again, just like the shallots, we don't want to leave any waste. So we're going to take the mushrooms and we're going to scoop them out. We're not just going to dump them in there, all right? We're going to scoop them out. Get some more broth in there. Let it cook down, let it cook down. You want to really impress a lady. This is what you do. Watch this. You want to really impress a lady, this is what you got to do. Oh, shit. So don't do that. But you're gonna continue to stir, and you're not gonna do the flip anymore. Keep stirring, we keep stirring. Our broth is getting to the bitter end. We probably got 2 little pours left. Now you'll notice the consistency on this. The rice is thickened up, starting to absorb that broth, the oil, the butter, starting to cook down. The bubbles are getting less and less and less. All right, I think we're ready for our final pour of broth into here. boom. Set this baby girl to the side. At this point, the bubbles are starting to subside. That means that there's a lot less water vapor coming out, which is a good sign. By the way, huge shout out to Ciuffo Cabinetry for their hospitality. Without them, we wouldn't have this amazing kitchen setup and this amazing cooktop, and you know, one-of-a-kind company. So thank you very much to the Ciuffo clan. So once all this water vapor starts evaporating out and we stop seeing the bubbles, we're gonna start adding some Parmesan cheese to the mix. We're gonna add about a cup. And by about a cup, I mean it's a cup. So you add a cup. The water vapor is pretty much done. We got a few little bubbles, but it's pretty thick. So we're gonna turn off the heat. We're gonna let that residual heat cook it down just a little bit more. And we're gonna go over to our Ciuffo Cabinetry fridge panel over here, because there is a fridge in there, and we're gonna grab our Parmesan cheese. I think it's Locatelli, but don't tell them that I'm using their brand. Once again, you know what, we gotta break this up a little bit, so we're gonna give it a get about a cup in there. Oh baby. And then we pour it in. Nice. And this is my favorite part, because you know what? You want to talk about creamy, you want to talk about flavor. This Pecorino Romano, not Parmesan. It's not Parmesan, it's Pecorino Romano. It's a very big difference. The Pecorino is a lot saltier. It's a sheep's milk cheese rather than a cow milk. I believe that Parmigiano is a cow milk cheese, but Pecorino it's a very sharp cheese. It's pretty incredible. All right, so the mix is basically mixed. So now we're gonna take our mix and we're gonna put it on the plate while it's mixed. So would my lovely producer be able to grab me a plate, just pass it my way. All right, so presentation matters. So we're gonna take this, we're gonna put that here, and then we plop. We're gonna make a nice little shape out of it too. We're gonna make like an anthill. All right, could I have a paper towel, Mr. Producer, sir? We're gonna just clean the plate real quick, and then we're gonna present it to the camera. So yeah, this has been it's been a really good time, you know, cooking with Canatos, mushroom risotto. So that's that. Come back for the next episode anytime.